When the JWRC started out, we performed at Beverly Hills High School. Annie Get Your Gun was our final production on that stage before we moved over to the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. It wasn't easy using a public high school stage. We could never begin rehearsals until the school day was over, and since our tech crew were students, we also had to end every night by 10 p.m. We also had to schedule our Sunday matinee for 3 p.m. because they had a regular Sunday morning renter. But we made it work for 5 years, and we are grateful to the Beverly Hills Unified School District for giving us our very first home.
Annie Get Your Gun marked a major turning point in my JWRC career. It was the first time I played both a woman and a man in the same show.
Rachel Ross was so incredible. She designed all of our sets, all of our props, and all of our costumes. I would go out to her workshop in the Valley, and she was so excited to show me everything that she was working on. She would come and bring costumes to rehearsals. She just was so enthusiastic. It was such a pleasure to work with her, and she made the show look amazing.
In Annie Get Your Gun, I had the chance to play a guy, which is, I think, the only time I've played a guy in a JWRC production. And I had a chance to do some other fun things as well. I juggled, and I tap danced, and I used a lot of my skills that I learned in middle school. So keep learning those random things because you never know when they might come in handy.
We did all the blocking and choreography for this show in the La Cienega shopping center. I guess it was a My Gym, and I carpooled with Julie and Rachel Shamblat, I guess Rachel Block now. So whenever I drive by down there, I always think of this show and my carpool.
In one part of the show, Michelle was supposed to pat my head and dust was supposed to fly off of it. So I was supposed to put on a bit of baby powder to make it look like dust. But I was really worried about the audience being able to see it. So before the show, I kept putting more and more baby powder on my head. And then during the show, when Michelle pat my head, a huge cloud of baby powder flew off right in her face. Oops.
It didn't matter if we had a costume change or we were getting ready to get on stage. We had to be in the wings to watch Mary do her whole scene as the hotel manager. She was so great, and we just used to laugh and laugh and laugh, and we couldn't wait to see her perform that part every single time, whether it was rehearsal or in the performance.
Annie Get Your Gun was a special show for me because it was my first show, and also because I was pregnant with my first son. And I was a little worried about my costume, that it wouldn't fit. And here it is. This is my costume. I wore these jeans, and they put these fringes on it, and it was so cool, and it did fit. Unfortunately, 3 children later, I think maybe not fitting anymore, but we had fun with our cowboy hats and our fringes. Yeehaw!
One of the great things about being an Annie Get Your Gun was, well, I'm not a big owner of Western wear, so I had to go out to a bunch of vintage, aka used, clothing stores to get all of these cowboy Western items. So I came away with a lot of jeans and boots and bandanas. I own a lot of bandanas now.
In Annie Get Your Gun, I had these really beautiful costumes, but I couldn't exactly fill them out. So I bought this amazing purple padded push-up bra to help me with that little problem. But I always thought it was super funny that I sang the costumes, the scenery, the makeup, the props. So at rehearsal, when I sang the props, I would gesture the costume, the scenery, the makeup, the props, and we would laugh about that a lot. I can't remember if I actually did it during the show, but maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but I had my props.
So not everybody knows this, but a couple of days before the show weekend, I came down with a terrible head cold. And one of the medications that the ENT suggested that I take was Mucinex. Now Mucinex comes in regular strength and extra strength. I thought that I was taking regular strength on the morning of the first show. I, unfortunately, was not and was taking extra strength. So I had taken double the dosage of what I was supposed to have. The whole day I was like feeling woozy and weird, and I was, what is going on? And finally realized that I had overdosed on Mucinex. And I was lucky that the effects had mostly worn off by the time we got to curtain, but not all the way.
Right as I was about to make my entrance for one of my scenes, I looked down at my feet and realized that I was wearing bright green Crocs. So I quickly ran downstairs to the dressing room and changed my shoes, ran back upstairs, and was very, very late for my entrance. And later I went to apologize to Margie, but she was not happy.
Because I had so many different costumes and hats and things that I was wearing and playing for in this show, when my mom came to see it, she actually didn't even know when I was on stage and when I wasn't on stage. And I remember her asking me afterwards, I don't think I saw you that much. Where were you?
In the scene where we're sitting on a boat and I think we're playing poker or something, sitting on these barrels or something, all of a sudden something got in my contact lens, and I have contact lenses where it feels like a sharp knife was stabbing me in the eye, and my makeup's like all, I'm crying and like trying so hard to do the scene and focus, and all this stuff as my makeup's going down my face. And then all of a sudden we have to like, Michelle and I have to sing out to the audience, and I was like, so it's crazy.
I'm so glad that I met Kalila on this show because I still buy Girl Scout cookies from her daughter every single year.